Yes, sir. Chilling in the nice hat and the white tee. Come through, son, yo. Yeah. You know me. My humorous side, but yeah, see, the beauty is when you can just tell the truth and you let that truth out the bag. Let that truth out, you know what I'm saying? That's just the beauty of it, because when you tell the truth resides. And like they say, the truth heals those that can be healed. The truth heals those that are not fully deviled out, not fully Sataned out, not fully diabloed out. You understand what I'm saying? So that's for them. But of course we know already. For those that are fully diabloed out, enemies out, Sataned out, whatever you want to call it, adversaried out, well, of course it's not going to help them. But it helps the one telling the truth. And see, that's why they say patience is a virtue. Because see, let me tell you something. When you speak something later or in the beginning of life, it's going to come out regardless. It took patience. And as I said, when you really have a real mission out here, you're going to have everybody in your ear rushing you to get the truth out. You can't rush to get the truth out. The truth has to come in the installments that are coming. And then, things happen. Things don't just happen in a 1, 2, 3 process. And, many of us, we never even said that. Because there's real empaths that are just crazy enthusiastic, crazy charismatic, and crazy with-alls. We never really said these things. Right, even those that, were empathic. In my case, was saying certain things throughout the years. Of course, some people were playing empathic and maybe wasn't. Of course, but it doesn't really matter. But that's what I'm saying. So, us real empaths, remember, they try to rush us. A lot of people try to rush, they rush us because, why? We are really where we want to be. Like I always say, it's like that celebrity that interacts with a fan, and the fan, might try to take advantage because they believe that they're inferior. And, like I always say, this is what I will say about that. When they say God created us equal, they mean just as men and women. I don't, as far as what we do in life, well, somebody can be more superior with what they do than me because I don't do what they do. Just like they don't do what I do. So that's just that. You understand? So it's not about the misconception of what, like I said, those, not even churchgoers, just people that say they follow Christ and they start throwing things in the mix and throwing that in the mix, and you're like, you're just as worse as anybody else. You're claiming this, you claiming that, and then you're watching that person, like I always say. So right, so anyway, like I said, so it's just like the misconception of I do have to a lot of them say follow Christ because there are a lot of hypocrites out there. But right, seriously. But anyway, both genders too. But right, it's just like that the celebrity and the fan, the peasant and the king, peasant and the queen, whatever the case may be, that the other feels inferior, so they rush things. Right, you understand? Because you got to realize that if a person thinks you're a celebrity, that just means have a celebrated life, basically. They say that's all it means, right? So or celebrity, whatever the case is, you are famous, whatever the case is, and the person is not, you got to realize the person is trying to look at things through your lens, so they're rushing things. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, that, oh, this, you understand? And that's just an example that I'm using. But right, so like I said, when you just realize you're sitting, that's why you don't interact. See, that's where boundaries come in at, right? Let's just be realistic. The boundary is this. Right, the boundary is, like, I'm just gonna be real with you. See, okay, very, very simple. If somebody has characteristics of something, like characteristics of insecurity or characteristics of certain things, then there's nothing wrong with that because you can help a person, more than likely. But if a person is insecure, if they if they lack a soul, if they lack this and like that, then yeah, you can't interact with people like that. Because like I said, personally, like I said, I'm a human like anybody else, and many of the brothers and sisters are humans like anybody else. And don't get me wrong, our power is supernatural, absolutely, and it will always be that way, because that's why God intended for some of us, right? And when we know what God intended, we intended it too, and say, oh yes, sir, yes, Abba, yes, Father, I take it. In the name of Christ, your Son, I take it. So that's the beauty of it. But so that's what I mean. So we're all humans, but at the same time, they're all different levels. And that's what some people really feel bad, and they feel down on themselves. Right? They, like I said, and a lot of people are insecure. Let's see, and that's a lot of insecure people take the things that Christ said, and then they try to use it. Right? I'm not saying you don't follow what Christ said, but a lot of people take what Christ said and they use it in different terms, use it in different manners, because they're not happy with the look, and they're happy with their marital status, and they're happy with how they look, and they're happy with the complexion. Like, it can be whatever, but it's just realistic. Right? You understand? I know, because I see, like I said, because remember, I've been in the Offworld, I've been in that church world, and so I know the secrets and the psychology and the psychics and the way people try to be mind teasers and all that. I know all of that. You understand? When people say God this, God this, God this, God that, nothing wrong saying God is God that, because God is everything. God is beautiful, and God is the one that saves us, and those of us that are saved, God has saved us. But when somebody always talking and they say God this, God that, if they're talking about God or if they're talking about you. And like I always say, my number one test, like I said, because people always say something about a test when it came to what Christ said, and like I said, they were just saying that because they wanted to stay involved. So, like, my number one test was this. I would say, look, these people seem so obsessed. There's nothing wrong with giving tests and things like that. And it's not even a test from God. You're just giving a test, but there's nothing wrong with giving a test. But when I realized it, I said, okay, since you're testing so much and you're so obsessed, and like I said, if I block you, if I unsubscribe from you, if I unfriend you, if it's a real godly test that you're saying, then you will find me, because you're giving me a test from God. God didn't say, I want you to test him on YouTube. Right, test her on YouTube, and then if they unfriend you, I need you to go, then you don't be bothered with them no more. Just talk about them behind the scenes. No. Oh yeah, I'm kicking the can, right? No. They know God didn't tell them to do that, because when God tells you to do something, you got to do it. Like when God told Jonah to do something, he went out there and did it, didn't he? He didn't, he may have paused and whatever, but he still knew his mission, and he continued on. So like I said, so these people are saying a test from God and this and that and this, and then when you're like, okay, so now, and I'm not on YouTube, or you can't find me now, come find me if you're a real servant, because a real servant of God finds those that they obsess over. Somebody say, yeah, I believe in me, I've had many obsess over me. So that's the point. So the reason why they can't find you is because their mission is not from God. They themselves are trying to help you, which, like I said, that's the thing, it's nothing wrong with that, but see, it becomes narcissistic when they start lying and throwing God in the mix and talking about a test from God and this and that. That got nothing to do with it. If you did me, I care about my brothers and sisters, so if I really need to find them, I would find them off of YouTube. Now see, I'm not talking about those that just give advice and it's beautiful. They don't gotta come find me because they're not obsessed. Right. And somebody said, well, you shouldn't want an obsessed person to find you. Well, you shouldn't, but remember, the person never admitted that they was obsessed in the first place. So that's the point. So that's how you could tell when a person is obsessed or not, or people are obsessed or not, by throwing tests at them that they can't even answer. Right. That's the point. So you know how much freedom I got now just from unsubscribing and just blocking people? I got all the freedom in the world, because now all the stuff that God was saying to them, they can't even tell me that, right? Because see, God just had said on YouTube, don't find him. God, don't find her. So you're right, because there's also other people too. So see, that's the beauty of dealing with stalkers and obsessed when you really know. So you see the truth, when truth finally comes out, the truth definitely sets you free, which is what was said by Christ. See, that's what you want, the conclusion. Right? So the people that's talking about God this and God that, they was never coming to a conclusion. They try to repeat what I'm saying. Oh, he said, oh, well, maybe this, oh, well, maybe that. I can say, oh, well, maybe this, oh, well, maybe that, not this, not that. But I come to the conclusion. You never came to a conclusion. You just was following me. And see, that's the big difference. So remember, follow Christ so you can have Christ's conclusion. Not just God this, God that, Holy Ghost this, Holy Ghost that. It doesn't work like that. So the real survivor, what's up, bro? The real survivors out there, peace and glorify God and take up the cross and always do what you do because you do it, and always admit you're doing it just because you want to help. And you know, of course, if you're on a mission from God, which is what you're doing also, but that's just the point. But don't throw him in the mix. When you do something, act like it's him saying it. It's really you saying it, and it's just a mission from God. Peace.